Yo, what is up, fam? Welcome to the Car Talk Podcast, episode 23. Today, I'm going to be talking a little bit about my past, a little bit about what I used to do. I went through a 30-week course for acting and modeling, and I honestly, it was a completely random thing. I'm not going to lie, but I kind of wanted to dive into that. And so, without a further ado, first and foremost, I hope you're doing great. Let's just dive right in. I think this can honestly help a lot of people learn to just kind of push your comfort zone a little bit. If you've got a thought about something that might, interest you, go out and do it. Find a way for you to go out and immerse yourself in whatever it is that interests you so that you can see if you actually like it and if you can find a home in that niche. And the thing that I was really curious about, I always thought movies were fascinating, and I always thought actors in particular were super, super cool. And I also really thought that, models on the magazines, like all that was really, really cool. And I've been told, all my life that, my looks are good for that kind of stuff. So, I was always curious if I could maybe make something like that work for a career, especially after seeing a lot of people be successful in that kind of, Instagram model phase, that kind of era. And it got me, really interested, like I said. So what I decided to do after I came home from college was I decided to find classes, find a way for me to learn about the acting, world and the modeling world and kind of dip my toes into it. And that's exactly what I did. I utilized a business that was around the area. I actually was driving about an hour to 45 minutes to an hour to get to the class I think it was twice a week. You could do 3 days a week, but I was doing it twice a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays, and I did it for, I think, 15 weeks. So it was 30 sessions, and I learned all about tons of stuff. I was practicing monologues, I was practicing a runway walk, I was practicing photo, commercial print modeling stuff, doing different poses, all these kinds of things that, I'm not gonna lie, were really intimidating to me at first, but I learned to get a little bit more comfortable with it. And by the end of the 30-week class, I would say that I definitely learned a ton. I definitely was able to compose myself much, much better. And I just felt as if, I totally understood the industry that I could potentially go into. And that led me down a hole of, doing some extra work, doing some auditions, and, everything basically along the lines of becoming an actor and a model. Luckily, I live right near Chicago, so I was able to drive to Chicago for auditions and stuff. So I was actually doing the extra work for the Chicago franchise, which is like Chicago PD, Chicago Med, Chicago Fire. And that was an awesome experience. It was a paid experience, so it was super cool to be able to go out to the city and, obviously have it be paid for. It wasn't anything crazy, but it definitely covered my expenses. And it also, which was most important about the experience, was it just gave me exposure to what it was like to be on set, which is, something that obviously an actor needs to be comfortable with and needs to, per se, enjoy doing it. And that was something that I found, I'm not gonna lie, it was interesting. It was a cool experience. I wouldn't trade the 30 weeks for the world. I did invest a good amount of money in order to do those classes, but if I'm being honest, I didn't make it back through modeling and acting like I was hoping I would. But who's to say that I can't go back to do some acting and modeling? That's kind of what I'm starting to think now, 5 years later. I'm 23. I started doing that when I was 18. So, 18, 19 years old. So it's been about 4 or 5 years. And I feel like I know who I am. I know myself much better than I did when I was 18, 19 years old. And I feel like I'm much more confident in who I am. And I feel like I know exactly what I want in this life. And I know exactly what I need to do to get there. Where, when I first started going to those classes, I was nowhere near the level I'm at, as far as self-awareness goes now. So it's like, I'm incredibly blessed to be able to say that I am as self-aware as I am, and that I know what my dream is, and that I know what I want to achieve in this life. And I just think it's super cool that I went out and pushed myself to do something that, my family thought was crazy, my friends thought was crazy, and just, if I'm being honest, even I thought was crazy. Like, it's hard to go all in on your dreams, but if you can get one thing out of this podcast, it's exactly that. It's that we are all worthy of chasing our dreams. Every single one of us was put on this earth for a specific reason. We each have our very, very unique homes on this earth, and I believe that if you go out and explore whatever it is that you're creative, towards, or whatever you're interested in, I think eventually you're going to strike a chord on exactly what you're supposed to be doing in this life. And once you do that, there's no feeling that can ever match it. There's not a feeling in the world. And I feel every day, like I said, I have the luxury to say this, I'm blessed. I feel like every single day I am chasing my dream at full speed. I am creating content at scale, communicating who I am, what I stand for, what I believe in to you guys through every avenue that I feel fit and that I, basically know about. There's a few social media apps that I actually am finding out that I need to get on because I never even knew about them, but I mostly just go on to whatever Gary Vaynerchuk talks about. And those are the basics: LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube. Like, I'm pretty sure it's just those 6 for the most part. But eventually I'll even expand to other ones if they become something that I become interested in. But ultimately, like I said, this life is so dang beautiful. There are so many opportunities, no matter which way you look. So if you believe that you have a skill set in something, go out and chase whatever it is that you believe is for you. All right? That's all I want for you to get out of this. And I feel really motivated. I feel really confident, in what I'm doing. And I think I might even end up, taking advantage of the skills that I did develop over the 30-week class that I did. But even if I don't, ultimately going out of my comfort zone and pushing myself to do those 30 weeks of classes was one of the greatest things that I could have ever done for myself, and I'm eternally grateful for doing that. And if I can inspire you to do whatever it is that you are debating on or whatever you're thinking about, please just go out and do it. It'll be worth it. But yeah, that's it, guys. As always, if you guys are happy, please find a way to go out and spread that happiness. Create content if that's what you're about. If you're interested in stuff like that, please start doing it. If not, no worries at all. Text your loved ones, text the people that you care about. Wish them well, wish them a good, happy, amazing week. And as always, guys, stay curious. We'll see you guys next podcast. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it more than you will ever know. And if you could, leave a comment, of a subject that you want me to cover, or just your thoughts on ways that I can improve this podcast, or ways that I can improve. So please leave a comment below, and I will see you guys next podcast. Thank you again so much for tuning in. Peace out, guys.